Today we're going to talk about one of the smallest things that you can do to elevate your brand by using a URL shortener for all of your links. Let's do this in the Lyons Den. I'm Kevin Lyons. I'm CEO and Chief Solutions Officer of Lyons Den Solutions, and I want to talk today about branding. Back before the whole COVID thing, we did a lot of live conferences and live events, and one of the things that we prided ourselves on, you see what I did there? Prided ourselves on? Anyways, one of the things that we prided ourselves on is the touch points of our attendees and our sponsors as they approached and came into our venues. So we did a lot of programs at Marriott properties and Marriott hotels where we would have hundreds of people show up, especially in the healthcare community. We'd have an exhibit hall, we'd have registration, we would have all these product theaters, we'd have multi-session 4-day and 5-day conferences. And we really got into the details because we knew if everything that we did at a small interaction touch point with the attendee was paid attention to, and we brought detail to it, and we took the brand of our client and persisted it and made it distill down into every experience that attendee had, that ultimately the overall brand experience would be phenomenal. I mean, we talked even to the point of when we greeted our speakers at their cars when they drove up to the hotel to bring them into the green room. We had a bottle of water with them. We had our client's logo on that bottle of water. We had a folder with their time and their schedule. We already checked them into the hotel. We had the key cards for the hotel printed with our brand, and you flip it over with a sponsor brand on the back of it. We had so many details and touch points. It took a team of 15, 20 people to produce these conferences because we were constantly looking for continual quality improvement to make sure that our client's brand was imprinted upon the experiences that the attendees had at those events. Now that can also be said for your attendees to your webinars, to your live stream, to anything that you do, whether you're a small business, you're a chiropractor, that you actually would have every piece of your experience be in touch with the brand experience. So here's what we're going to talk about today. First off, your brand is not your logo, it's not your color, it's not what your website looks like. Your brand is the essence of the character and culture of either you as a solo entrepreneur, you as a personality-based brand, you as a company, you as an entity, an organization, a nonprofit. If you're a nonprofit, your mission and vision and how that persists through the colors and the logos and the impressions and the touch points and all of that, the essence of all of that is brand. Brand is not a linear thing that you go through and it's like, oh, did we brand this? Check. No. Brand, if it's not on point, if it's not in place, you're missing the opportunity. You have to figure out who you are and what you are and who your audience is. And out of that, the culture and character of who you are, that's your brand. So let's talk about URL shorteners. So URL is basically a domain name, if you will, or an ability of taking I think it's like Unified System Lookup, whatever, blah, 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 acronym, but basically a domain name like lyonsden.live, which is one of the domain names we have. I'm a domain name junkie. I probably have 300 of them. However, if you're surfing the web, and let's say you're doing something, let me pop over to my iMac here. So let's say that you're going on to the video that I posted yesterday, which is a good video. It talked about 12 applications that will level up your virtual event. Take a look at it, ask me some questions about it. Would love to talk some geek with you about it. So if I wanted to share this video and I click on share, now YouTube gives me a shortened YouTube URL. Now what it means by shorten is it took this long URL that might be up here and it made it short so it fits better into social media posts like on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, and yada yada. However, it's branding YouTube. What if I wanted to brand it go.lyonsden.live? Okay, so that's my brand. Well, I use a platform called Bl.ink, and we're going to look at some other platforms. So I use a platform called Bl.ink. I went out and I grabbed the domain name lyonsden.live. It was available. If you're doing live streaming, you better go and check and see if your domain name's available and grab it, because it's a great domain name. I then put go in front of it, go.lyonsden.live. I created what's called a CNAME, which is part of a DNS or domain naming system that pointed go.lyonsden.live at Bl.ink, which is a URL shortener program. Now, we use Bl.ink for our clients. It's a paid service. You gotta pay to play on some of these things. But what it allows me to do is I copied that video's URL right here. I'm going into my Bl.ink account. I'm going to create a new link, and this can be a branded link. So watch this. So here I paste the long link. So I'm going to paste in my YouTube link that points to my YouTube video. Now I have the opportunity to create a go.lyonsden.live link. And so maybe I'll call it, let's see, what was my name? 12 applications that will level up your virtual events. So maybe what I will do is do this. 12 virtual event apps. All right, so you may or may not be able to see that. Let me blow this up a little bit for you. So this is going to create a shortener for me using my domain name that I own with go.lyonsden.live on it. I did the go dot on there so that I could dedicate the go.lyonsden.live to the Bitly platform. And I can still preserve lyonsden.live for anything else that I might want to do with it. Now stay tuned, we're about to launch the Lyons Den Solutions website, which is actually going to be lyonsden.solutions. No .com, because .solutions is now a suffix, is available for domain names, and by the grace of God, we grabbed lyonsden.solutions. So anyway, stay tuned for that. So here's what we're going to do. We put that in there. All I do is I hit save, okay? Now I have this link here that points to my YouTube link, and I'm pointing over here because I'm using my iMac on this as a remote computer. So now if I say, hey, go to go.lyonsden.live/12 virtual event apps, what happens? It redirects me straight into the video. Hey, there I am, straight into that video. Now, why do we want to do that? So if you're doing Facebook advertising, if you're doing Facebook posts, social media posts, Instagram posts, Twitter posts, if you're actually out there sharing content, you're participating in groups and guilds, and you might want to check out my video about guilds and groups. It's, I think, a wave that we're in right now that's so important during this pandemic. So why not? I mean, look at all the branding equity that we're getting off of creating a URL shortener. This is no longer u2.bexyqle8p/blah. This is now go Lyons Den live 12 virtual event apps. So when that is used, and maybe it's used in a blog copy, or maybe it's used in comments, maybe you're in a group or a Discord conversation and you're wanting to share a video or a piece of content that you created. Look how classy that looks, and what does it do is it points right back to your domain name, lyonsden.live, or your domain brand, Lyons Den. And it's so easy to do. So how do we do that, right? So there's a couple of other shorteners I'm just going to kind of give you a look at to tell you some things. So Bitly is probably one of the most popular shorteners that's out there. They've been around forever, you know, bit.ly. I used to be a big Bitly fan. They got a little bit too big for their britches, for my take on this. So I used to have a domain name that was attached to them, and I would do a lot of curating of social media content, but they got kind of expensive and they were kind of limiting. And for a long time, there was a hack that you could actually look up any Bitly URL shortener by adding a plus sign at the end of it, and you could see all of their analytics, and I didn't like that. They fixed that, so you can't really see that anymore. But anyways, but there are a free solution out there. But if you shorten your domain name with Bitly, like, you know, let's say here, I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to shorten the link google.com. It's still this yabba dabba do type stuff of, you know, bit.ly 3m6 blah blah blah. You can pay for a version of Bitly. They'll do the same thing that Bl.ink does, but it's a lot more money. So anyways, Bitly's decent. It's an industry standard out there. Ally's out there. Ally is part of the Hootsuite social media platform, which really back in the heyday of when I jumped on Twitter in 2008, 2009, Hootsuite was like cutting edge. I think they need to innovate a little bit more and catch up with the pack. There's, a Rugal Pulse and a lot of other, platforms out there that are crushing it in social media management. But anyways, this is another one out there you can take a look at. Now, this is a popular one, Rebrandly. A lot of content creators are actually using Rebrandly. Very similar to Bl.ink. I considered Rebrandly. I'm not anti-Rebrandly. We just were already vested into Bl.ink with a lot of our clients. It does a lot of the same things to where you can create a custom domain name with a shortened URL. You have some analytics that come off of it and so forth. Pricing's not too bad. Click'em, I just came across it. This dude looks like he's pretty happy about it. So I was like, yeah, I'll show you guys Click'em. But I don't know the guy. I don't know Click'em. But do your research. Results may vary. Short.io is another one to where they really tribe themselves around, creating a custom domain name. But I really kind of like Bl.ink. Bl.ink just works for me. You can do a lot of things. There's analytics. I love the real-time analytics that you can get off of Bl.ink. You can get notifications. But here's my favorite thing I think about Bl.ink is the ability of you can go in and edit this link. So now I have this link that is go.lyonsden.live, 12 virtual event apps. I can come in here and let's say I really didn't like that video, or maybe I edited that video and re-uploaded the video to another video on YouTube, and I'm trying to redirect all of the traffic I built around it. Well, I can come in here and edit that redirect. And technically I think it's like a 301 redirect. I can edit the link that's associated with the redirect. So why use a shortener? Why use a custom shortener? Why put money behind this? Because it costs money. Because it's another brand touch point to where when you're out there sharing content and ideas, let's say I even find a video that like Doc Rock makes or live streaming pros or whatever, and I go and grab and I share their YouTube link. Why not wrap it in my brand to say, hey, I'm endorsing this. I'm saying that this is something that Lyons Den stands behind and we want to share with you. So branded links, I'm a big fan. Now let's talk real quick about brands though. Here's two websites I want to share with you. This is bonus content for you. That when you're coming up with your brand, and let's say it's your name or it's a name like whatever, RV Rocks or something that you're passionate about. Before you start buying domain names. Now I'm a domain name junkie. Literally, I got hundreds of domain names, hundreds of ideas. But you really want to take a look to make sure what's available. So for instance, like when I'm looking for Lyons Den related things, I love this website. It's called Instant Domain Search. Let me kind of give you a look of it. Whoa, I can't enlarge that. But anyway, so instantdomainsearch.com. I can pop in words like Lyons Den, or let's say that you're big into live streaming. Oh, if I spell it right. So here we go, live streaming. And it immediately tells me what domain names are available by extension, as well as it has this generator that kind of says, hey, here's a variation on a theme, but it also has these that are for sale. Here we go. You can buy live streaming VFX.com for $125,888. No, thank you. So anyways, instantdomainsearch.com. When you're searching out your brand, you're trying to develop some other, even like secondary brands, or you're going to a client and you're helping them develop a brand, like maybe they have a URL that doesn't really speak to what they do or what they are. This is a great tool for them. Next tool, Namecheck. Namecheck is so cool. It's namechk.com. There's a competitor of theirs that's like Namecheck, and it's like some other weird name, but Namechk. So check this out. I'm going to look up live stream. This tells you not only what domain names are available, but look at this, what usernames on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Blogger, Twitch, everything else, what's available, what's not. So when you're doing research and you're developing the product launch, you're developing the brand to go out there, you want to make sure that you can get that name across all of the social media and social network platforms. So like here, let's say we're going to do live stream, LIVESTREAM. I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit search. So all the domain names are off. So we know that we can buy livestream.co. Here you go. Who has $49,999 that they want to spend? We have .biz for $4,888. You can buy livestream.at. I mean, that's available. You can go to GoDaddy or whatever and buy it. But here's what also is cool. Technically, livestream, so facebook.com/livestream is available. Same thing, youtube.com/livestream. Now, will you ever get it? Probably not, because Facebook and YouTube are probably squatting on those names. So it kind of gives you an idea of what's available. Let's do something a little bit more obscure. Let's say that we are a cupcake factory. So let's do cupcake factory. All right, so Cupcake Factory is available on YouTube, TikTok, Yelp, Basecamp, Tumblr, Pandora, Foursquare. Who remembers Foursquare? I remember Foursquare Day back in the day. Behance. And so anyways, you kind of get the idea. So let's say it's someone's name. Let's say it's Julie Rogers. I have no idea who Julie Rogers is. I just came up with a name. So here's all of her names, and here's all of her things. But what if it's Julie Rogers Crafting? All right, so here, domain names are not, apparently Julie Rogers is a really popular crafter. Let's do Scott. Scott Rogers Crafting. So anyways, you get an idea. You kind of see what's available on what social media sites and domain names. But the important thing though is when you're thinking about branding yourself, when you're thinking about, launching your brand out, especially for your clients, think about all the touch points, all the experiences, all the way through it. Some people laugh at my Stinger logo because I have a lion's roar in there. It's like, God gave me the last name of Lyons. We are Lyons Den Solutions. If we would have had a son, his name would have been Daniel. Yeah, I mean, we pull it all the way through. But isn't that what we're supposed to do with our identity and our brand? Is you want to pull the essence of who you are and your character all the way through. Take a look at URL shorteners. Take a look at Bl.ink. It's simple, it's easy. It's another way that you can have your URL used to put yourself out there and get your brand pushed out. Anyways, until next time, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate you tuning in. And be true to yourself. Be true to your brand. And I'll catch you next time.